In the heart of a town forgotten by time stands an old abandoned radio station, its antenna a silent finger pointing to the sky. For years, it was just a local legend, a place kids dared each other to enter. But for Elara, it was a calling. Driven by a relentless curiosity and a love for all things vintage. She pushed open its creaking doors one day, revealing a world coated in dust and nostalgia. She saw past the decay, envisioning the life that once pulsed through its wires. So she began her project, spending weeks carefully cleaning vacuum tubes, soldering frayed connections, and coaxing the old equipment back to life. One stormy evening, a hum returned to the station, followed by the crackle of a live microphone. Elara felt a surge of triumph. But then, something strange happened. Through the static, a voice emerged, faint and distant. It wasn't a modern broadcast. It was a plea, a fragment of a conversation from decades ago. Over the next few days, more signals came through. A lost child's cry from a cold case file dated 1982. The frantic last words of a pilot whose plane vanished over the nearby mountains in the 90s. Elara realized she hadn't just restored a radio. She had opened a channel to the past, a spectral switchboard for the lost and the missing. She began documenting everything, cross-referencing the ghostly transmissions with old newspapers and police records. The voices became her obsession. She was piecing together forgotten tragedies, giving names to whispers. The town, once skeptical, started to listen as she broadcasted these echoes, hoping to bring closure to families who had waited a lifetime for answers. But the more she listened, the more she felt a growing unease. The signals were not just random echoes. They seemed to be converging, telling a single horrifying story that the town had deliberately buried. It was a story of a terrible secret, one that some people still living would do anything to keep hidden. Then the broadcasts shifted. They became urgent, frantic. A new voice, clearer than the rest, broke through the static. It wasn't from the past. It was a warning, speaking of a danger that was not over, but was about to happen again. It spoke of the same darkness that had caused the tragedies of the past, now stirring once more. Elara tracked the origin of this new signal, and the message became chillingly clear. A looming event threatened the entire town, a repeat of a catastrophe that was covered up. The radio was no longer just a window to the past. It was a siren for the future. She faced an impossible choice. Continue broadcasting the truth and risk unleashing panic and the wrath of those who guarded the secret, or shut it all down, plunging the voices back into silence and leaving the town to face its fate alone. Standing before the glowing dials, with the whispers of the lost and the warnings of the present swirling around her, Elara made her decision. She took a deep breath, leaned into the microphone, and chose not to be a passive listener but a broadcaster of truth. She sent the warning out across the airwaves, revealing the long-buried secret and the imminent danger. Panic and disbelief gripped the town, but her broadcast forced a confrontation with the past. The looming disaster was averted, but the town's foundation of secrets was shattered. The old radio station was no longer silent. It had found its voice again, not just as a bridge to the past, but as a beacon for the future. Elara had broken the silence, but in doing so, had changed her town forever, proving that some voices, no matter how long they've been quiet, refuse to be forgotten. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow 4 more stories from the forgotten corners of the world.